Good evening and welcome to the regularly scheduled monthly meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. BZA members are volunteers and receive no compensation. We are appointed by the City Commission for staggered 3-year terms. Under state statutes, the BZA hears 3 types of appeals: dimensional or non-use variances, including sign variances. We also explore use variances and appeals of interpretations or rulings of the building official or other boards. This evening we have 5 appeals and they are all dimensional. Under a dimensional or use variance, the appellant must show practical difficulty complying with the dimensional requirements of the ordinance. It requires 4 affirmative votes. We have 6 members today, so that's 4 out of 6. And as I mentioned, those are all of our appeals this evening. Our procedure is all comments are to be addressed to myself, the chair. Please wait to be recognized. City staff will make a presentation regarding the appeal and take questions from the board members. The appellant is then invited to present their case. Only one person may speak on behalf of the appeal. I do make exceptions for architects or engineers as needed. Members of the public are then invited to come forward, identify themselves, provide their comments to the board. The hearing is then closed. Motions from the board are entertained and acted upon. In all cases, this is not a popularity contest. Granting or denying a variance is based substantially on the appellant meeting their burden of proof. I just want to mention while we have everybody here versus at the end that we did have some fraudulent emails go out to people that had applied for appeals. This email did not come from a Birmingham email address. It was a fraudulent email. It was asking for additional fees for applying for a variance as well as bonds. It was fraud, and I don't believe anybody paid it, but just to be aware, those were not from the city. They are not required fees. The city is looking into these emails to figure out who the perpetrators are, but anybody else exploring looking into applying for a variance, keep in mind we will not request funds or money through email. All the fees are told to you up front, and there are no additional ones, and we would never solicit through the email. Sorry for anybody that received those emails. Can we please call the roll of the board members?
Eric Nogano.
Here.
Jason Canvasser.
Here.
Kevin Hart.
Here.
Carl Connor.
Here.
Richard Logan.
Here.
John Miller.
Here.
Ron Reddy. Donald Goddard. Susan Checkett.
So again, we have 6 board members out of 7. It does require 4 affirmative to have your appeal approved. I'm going to call the roll of the appellants. Do we have someone here for 655 Hawthorne? Thank you. Do we have someone here for 236 Pleasant? Thank you. Do we have someone here for 952 Brickwood? Thank you. We have someone here for 350 Shirley? Thank you. Do we have someone here for 550 South Glenhurst? Thank you. Besides the ones in front of us, do we have any additional correspondence for the board member?
Nope, you got everything.
And everyone's received, there's 3 in here, everyone's received copies?
Yes.
Thank you. Gentlemen, before you are the minutes from our last regularly scheduled meetings. Do we have any corrections or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Have a second? Is there a second? All in favor of approving the minutes as presented?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Our first appeal this evening is Appeal 2531 for Hawthorne. Andrew's presenting.
I got that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike's presenting.
Mike Morad, Assistant Building Official for the city, here to present Appeal 25-31. The owner of the property known as 655 Hawthorne requests the following variance to construct an addition on the rear of the home. Chapter 126, Article 4, Section 4.74C of the zoning ordinance requires that a minimum distance between principal residential buildings on adjacent lots are to be 14.00 feet or 25% of the lot width, whichever is larger. The required is 41.74 feet. The proposed is 38.30 feet. Therefore, a variance of 3.44 feet is requested on the east side. The applicant is seeking a variance to construct a rear yard addition to an existing non-conforming home that was constructed in the 1940s. Variances were granted in both 1968 and 1987. See minutes that are attached. Okay, so if we look here, 25% of the required distance of the chord from the front yard setback is 166.96 feet. So 25% of that is 41.74 feet. Here's the addition they're trying to put on in the rear, which they are proposing to be at 38.3 feet. The home is already non-conforming up in here, but that has nothing to do with the variance today. This would be required to be 41.74 feet, but they're proposing 38.3 feet. So this area right here, this shaded blue area, this arc, is the only portion of the request that is in violation of the ordinance right there. Oops. The home next door has 100-foot frontage at the setback line. So their requirement would only be 25 feet. So this home could build their home 25 feet from this home, whereas the 655 Hawthorne requirement is the 41.74 feet.
And what measurement on the lot is creating that 41 feet?
I'll go back to that. That is this distance here. That is the width of the lot at the setback line. If there was a square lot, you would measure, or even a regular lot, you measure what the distance of the width of the lot is at the setback point. That's what the width of the lot is at the setback point, is 166.96 feet. And they are required to be 25% of that from the neighboring property.
So if the front of the lot was not on a curve, but had a right angle, then likely the rear setback would be, across a lower section of the lot, and that 41 wouldn't be required?
I'll go back to this lot here. This is like a conventional, like 100-foot wide lot.
Right.
It's basically 100 feet no matter where you are on the lot, the width.
Right.
So that, therefore, their setback or their distance between structures is only 25 feet. If the lot were tapered, you always take the dimension at the setback line.
Right.
The front setback line.
But you're doing a diagonal chord because of the curvature of the lot?
Well, there's no other place to, you don't measure along a curve.
Right.
Yeah, right. So that is you'll see here, you go back to it, one second. You come down the distance of the front setback and down the distance of the front setback, and the line between them that connects is the chord line.
Right.
That is the front setback.
But I guess my point to you is if the lot was a true corner that was at a 90-degree angle, you'd be able to come down the lot and similar to the adjacent lot and measure, and it likely would be significantly smaller than that.
Yes, if it was just a true corner, which was a square, like a rectangular shaped lot, it would be just like the lot next door.
Right.
Whether it's a corner or not, it would be measured the same way, because there's only one front setback.
Very good. Other question for Mike? Mr. Canvasser?
Can you go to the drawing with the blue kind of?
The shading, that one there?
Yeah. What's the measurement at the widest point? Because of that actual blue shaded piece.
At the widest point, well, they're asking for 3.44.
Okay, and that would be at the widest point?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's the greatest point, 3.44. You're the widest width. We're not taking the length in the.
Okay, you're not taking the back wall. You're going to the widest point. Maybe it's the same. It
That's
looks like
that's the only portion of the home that is not, or that is into the required yard.
Okay, so if they cut out, for the sake of discussion, that blue shape, there's no variance needed.
That is correct.
Okay.
Start?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Morad, the southern lot line is 140.3 feet from going east to west, the very bottom of the survey. If that property were square, it would be 25% of that number, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Any other questions for the city? Please.
I believe you had mentioned that if this variance is granted, it would not have a negative effect on the adjacent property? In terms of the setback situation?
This little portion, no, it would not, from the standpoint of the distance between of the home next door,
Right.
does not have the same requirement due to the fact the lot's not the same width.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, who's speaking on behalf of the appeal? Please. We don't get that big storyboard over there?
Oh, I mean, I'm happy to hold that up.
It's not-
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. If you could just tell us your name and your address?
Yes, Lauren Freund, 963 Warwick Street, Birmingham, Michigan, 48009.
Very good. So tell us why you think this appeal is justified.
Yeah, so we are really excited about this home. This is my grandparents' home. My mom grew up in this home, and we've celebrated countless birthdays, Christmases, holidays, you name it. And Nick and I bought the home in '22, right before my grandparents passed away. We've been eagerly preparing ourselves for this renovation. We really love the style and the look of the home. We think it fits in the neighborhood really beautifully, so it was important to us that we don't tear down the home, but instead do a renovation to add space for our growing family off the back. So we're hoping to keep the front of the house intact and, fix the brick and, get some new windows and stuff, but basically leave that alone from the exterior point of view and use the very sloped backyard to increase our living space and another bay for a garage. We are adjacent to 63 Hawthorne, and I've spoken with the Levies, who have lived there for a long time and knew my grandparents. The variance that we're looking to get is on their garage side of their house, and they went outside and looked around and decided it wasn't going to interfere with any enjoyment of their property. They have a pool and a beautiful two-story deck, and it's sort of on the other side of the house. So I don't think there's anything about what we're seeking that will impact their property at all. We did try to design this house with all of the ordinances in mind. There's a very large 30-foot setback that we decided not to seek a variance for and just work within the parameters of what was already allowed by Birmingham. We didn't realize at the time that we did these drawings that the chord was the distance used to measure on a curved lot. We thought it was the width of the lot, and so therefore we thought we were designing within the parameters. And we are very much hoping to have an extra 3 feet to build the plan as we've designed them.
So, with everything you've heard, you could choose to just take 3 feet off the space and not need a variance. Is there a reason why you haven't done that, or why you aren't
The 3
making that
feet
change?
in question it impacts both a living space and a primary bedroom and a stairwell that's been designed into this house. Because we're trying to keep the original house with the original roof line, it was actually pretty challenging from an engineering perspective to build out the back without building taller than the existing house and keep the roof lines intact. And this was the best layout that we could come up with the architect to make that all happen. It would need, I don't want to sound dramatic and say a full redesign, but it would need quite a bit of redesigning to take 3 feet out of both of those rooms. They're sort of like long, narrow rooms that we were trying to compact on the back of the house.
Very good. Other questions for the appellant? Seeing none, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Online or in the audience, anyone not specifically affiliated with this appeal that has comments about this appeal? See anything?
I don't see anybody.
We don't see anybody requesting, I'm sorry, I should have said, if you're on Zoom and you'd like to speak on behalf of this appeal, you can use the raised hand feature. If you raise your hand, we'll recognize you, we'll unmute you, and you can present. So if you are interested in speaking on behalf of this appeal, please raise your hand with the raised hand feature.
You also have somebody on the phone, so you probably need *9.
And if you're on the phone, you can use the *9 feature, which will also alert us that you'd like to speak on behalf of a particular appeal, and then again, we will unmute you. So I'll give you another 5 seconds if anybody would like to alert us that they would like to speak on behalf of this appeal. If not, we will close public comment. Seeing none, we will close public comment. Board members,
Somebody over here.
please. Mr. Remick.
Move to approve 655 Hawthorne. I believe that the unusual curved geometry of the lot is what's requiring the need for this variance. It will not have any undue or any impact at all on the one adjacent lot. And because of special conditions applicable to the property in question, provisions of the zoning ordinance, if strictly applied, would unreasonably prevent the property owner from using the property for the permitted purpose. This would result, the literal enforcement would result in an unnecessary hardship, and there is nothing that would be contrary to public health, safety, or welfare. And I believe that granting the variance would result in substantial justice to this property and the adjacent property owner. So for those reasons, again, I would move to approve and tie to the plans as submitted.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? I see almost the whole board. I think I saw Mr. Kona's hand first. Any discussion? Mr. Hurt.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'll support the motion as well. If this was a square lot, using the 25% of the southernmost property line at 140.3, the setback would be 35.07. The appellant's asking for 38.03 feet, and that would give him, he would be 1.96, almost 2 feet under what was required. So I think it's a very reasonable and very appropriate approach to this variance. The new garage to the west, I really like the way that it's set back and preserving the original integrity of the house, and it sort of becomes a non-entity. I think it's done very well, and that's why I'll support the motion.
Very good. Any other comments? Seeing none, can we please call the roll for approve?
John Miller,
Yes.
Carl Kona,
Yes.
Eric Morganov,
Yes.
Jason Canvaser,
Yes.
Kevin Hart,
Yes.
Richard Lilly.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yep. Good luck. If you need to, I'll find something. I'll recycle them for you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Artwork for your new house.
Exactly. Our next case is 26-01 for 236 Pleasant. Andrew, your turn.
Yep, Andrew Erickson here to present appeal number 26-01. The owner of the property known as 236 Pleasant requests the following variance to construct an addition to the existing home. Chapter 126, Article 4, Section 4.74C of the zoning ordinance requires that a minimum distance between principal residential buildings and adjacent lots to be 14 feet or 25% of the lot width, whichever is larger. The required is 14 feet. The proposed is 11.20 feet. Therefore, a variance of 2.80 feet is being requested on the north side. The applicant is requesting a variance to construct a rear yard addition on the non-existing home that was constructed in the 1940s.
Did you say non-existing home?
Oh, non-conforming, I'm sorry.
Very good.
Thank you.
Sure.
So you can see here, they're doing an addition on the back of the home. They did hold it in to get to the 5.33 feet here. Can you see that?
Kind of, yeah.
So they're requesting the variance of the distance in between there.
So can you explain the 14-foot arc?
That's showing what the non-conforming area is. The hatched area, that's the non-conforming.
Oh, just that small,
That small little area, yes.
right. So it's because the adjacent home has that offset, well, the offset still applies even for the other side.
Correct.
And what's the depth off the house that hatched area is? Is it just that
5.33 feet from the addition?
from the addition?
From the addition.
Right. Very good. Questions for City? Ms. Miller?
So they're just continuing that existing wall and
They're
toward the
holding
back?
it in a little bit to get to the 5.33.
3, okay.
The existing is 4.8. See,
Oh, so there's a slight jog.
So there's a slight jog in the back, correct?
Okay.
At the addition.
Other questions for city? Seeing none? Please, come on up. Please state your name and your address.
Good evening. I'm Victoria Polachicchio, 236 Pleasant. I know that you said that you would only allow one speaker, but for all technical questions that I can't answer, I brought my builder.
Okay.
Who is also my father.
All right, if we need him, we will bring him up here.
Okay, great, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate it, and all the help that Mike and Andrew have given us, we really appreciate it. So we are respectfully requesting a dimensional variance. As you can see, most of the part that we are trying to extend, we're just extending the kitchen. My kitchen right now, I've lived here since 2017, I've lived in Birmingham almost my entire life. Like one person can be in the kitchen. So I'd like to expand it just to have a little bit more room. And we intend to follow the line, and although a little bit inward in order to be able to comply. But the only part of the home that is non-conforming per the ordinances in Birmingham, I believe is only 8.33 square feet. And that is at the northeast corner of the home. The rest of the home would be in compliance with this proposed addition. Our home was constructed in 1938 before the current zoning requirements, so this is not a nonconformance that was self-created. It's not something I had anything to do with. As far as lot coverage proposed, it would not exceed any of those ordinances, so we're fine there. The 8.6 square feet that is the subject area, it does not affect anything, it doesn't change anything. What we realized as we were surveying this property is that all the homes were kind of slanted. You don't see it when you're looking at it directly, but every tiny slant of degree eventually gets larger as distance prevails. And interestingly enough, and I don't know if my neighbors to the north, who had actually written a letter and saying that they do not object to this, it would be a mirror image of their home. They also have a structure that is very similar to what we want to create, and it's like a little sunroom that they have. For me, I just want it to be a bigger kitchen. And I think because it follows the footprint of the home, it does not expand the width in any way, and I don't think that it would be cumbersome to them at all. As far as practical difficulty, again, there's no impact on the adjacent properties. We've had it surveyed. We don't believe that there's going to be any issues. If anything, it's taking the home out just far away, but not affecting anything from the front. As far as drainage considerations are concerned, we've never had a drainage problem, at least on my side. I'm not familiar with any. We've never had any issues in the almost 8 years that I've lived there. I do have another neighbor, and this is another reason why there's a hardship there and there's this non-compliance part. I share a driveway with them, and I actually don't even realize whether or not they'd even be able to see the structure. I can't really, they would see like a part of the structure because there's a fence, a pretty high fence in between our properties. So it wouldn't affect the other neighbor at all. And most importantly, I have a copy here of page 62 of the Birmingham Master Plan. And it's page 62, I've highlighted it if you guys want. I'm sure you're all familiar with it because I know you're adopting it. And but we are in the spirit of the master plan where they're trying to keep these historic homes, keep like that character of Birmingham. We have a lot of new builds and it's amazing. My dad's built a lot of houses, a lot of beautiful houses in this city, but there's something about that historical element that we're tearing down a lot of these old homes because they are not practical for the modern usage today of like families. Like maybe in 1938, a one-person kitchen was great, but for an Italian with a large family, it's just not. And I don't want to move. That's really just what it comes down to. But in the spirit of the master plan, one of the things they are recommending and pushing is allowing these additions for kitchen remodels, because think about the things that add value to your homes. The things that we're building that are much bigger and brighter and shinier are larger kitchens, a ton more bathrooms, things like that. So the house is going to look exactly the same from the front. It looks like a cute little dollhouse. On the back, I just need more room to be able to cook. and safely too, honestly. At some point, it gets a little dicey when the dishwasher door is open. So I think that we comply except for the 8.6 square feet. Everything else, we are in compliance. I do know that the Laddies, Dave Laddie's a city attorney, I think he's sort of retired now, who wrote you guys the letter. He does not object to it. He's the closest neighbor to what the addition would be affecting him. He is worried about drainage, but we had engineering come out and look at everything, plus there's no historic problems with water. And he was worried about the generator. I don't think that Dave knows that 2 years ago when I installed my generator, these very gentlemen here in this room were the ones that helped us with the permitting. It's completely up to code, and we would absolutely abide by any ordinances and do anything that is necessary to comply with all.
The code changed recently, but you're existing non-conforming because you put it in when it was allowed.
In 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Happened like 6 months ago or something.
okay,
when it was
and
changed.
so that is fine, we're absolutely,
I'm not required to change it.
okay. But as long as it was in conformance at the time that we applied and it was placed and it was approved by the city, we would stand by that. If there's any other issues, then I'll just talk to him, we'll figure it out.
Andrew, is if this variance was approved, will it impact a tear down and a rebuild of the adjacent home in terms of their side yard setbacks or distance between?
No.
Very good, thank you. Questions for the appellant? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. In the audience, anyone or on the phone or by Zoom, anyone that is not affiliated with this appeal, I see a raised hand, like to speak something. It looks like Dave Lottie has a comment. Could you unmute him?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hi, David. Yes, please state your name and your address and let us know your thoughts about this appeal.
So my name is David Laddie. I am the adjacent property owner of 230 Pleasant Street, so I'm just to the north. And as Vicky stated, we don't have any objection to the expansion of the kitchen. Our comment, and I think I forwarded a letter for the board members to review. My comments focus on the current location of the accessory generator. And as you just noted, you went through an ordinance change for accessory generators, and of particular interest to me is the change that you made that has new installations needing to be installed in the rear open space. And as I noted in my correspondence, as the applicants extend their sidewall, they're also extending into the rear open space. And what happens there is and I don't think that the generator is depicted on the plan that you have, but what happens is you will potentially have a very small distance between the accessory generator and the applicant's wall, and not much of a distance between the generator and our wall. And I cited discussion from your planning commission and before their recommendation to the city commission to change the ordinance, and this was from January 22nd of 2025. And in there, they're describing home generators placed on the side yard approximately 18 inches from the structure and 5 feet from a window or door opening. And the planning commission notes that in the environment of with some of Birmingham, with tight side yards and buildings within several feet of each other, it's not always proving to be safe. And those comments, I think, are particularly relevant to our situation. And I recognize that when the generator was installed, it complied with the manufacturer's recommendations, and that this ordinance is relatively new, and it applies primarily to new generators. But in our particular case, when you extend that sidewall out, you've essentially walled in that generator on both sides, and there's not a lot of distance between the houses. And so we'd ask that the board consider, and I think the applicants may have mentioned in their submission that they were willing to relocate the generator, and we'd like you to take them up on that and have them place it in the rear required yard. And I assume, again, I made a comment on the drainage, but I assume that the building department will make sure that the drainage meets current requirements. And those are my only comments, and if anybody has a question for me, I'm happy to answer.
So David, I mean, I guess I'll put on the record that I did hear that the appellant did offer to move it. Because it is a existing non-conforming, already approved generator, I can't tie her moving it to the decision we make on her appeal, because, I'm not in a position to create a criteria or something that contradicts the fact that it is existing non-conforming. We have had 2 or even 3 cases about generators come in front of the board in the last 6 months, all with this topic about the safety of the carbon monoxide and its proximity to a window, or even just the natural ventilation of a home. So if the homeowner feels uncomfortable with the reason why the fire marshal suggested these generators be put in the, further from the home and all the other new criteria, I'm sure that maybe she'll choose to look at that for her own safety, but it isn't something I can tie to whatever our approvals are, simply because it is a conforming, even if it's existing non-conforming, she does meet the ordinance because it was installed when the ordinance allowed for it to be there.
Well, I understand and appreciate any consideration that you can give us.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds, I did see it, I believe it was, I think it was in writing that either from you or I think she acknowledged she'd move it if she had to. I can't have her move it because it does meet the current ordinance and that it was installed before the ordinance was changed. But maybe you can enlighten her on the reason why it was, suggested it shouldn't be there, and maybe she'll move it for her own needs. But, your comments are on the record.
Understand.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Any other questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Board members.
I do have a question.
Please.
So I didn't see where the current generator is, but from what I understand from the existing non-conforming is it can stay where it is, but if they're moving closer to it, doesn't that change?
Yeah, I would say that if the structure they're adding changes her approval, would it not? If it's impacting
The distance?
the distance that it is from the home?
If it's installed with the manufacturer specs when it was done, and it sits that way, it should still be able to sit there unless there's an issue down the road, then it's going to be forced to move.
Right. But if
The ordinance was written
the
such
structure is moving closer to the generator where it is no longer part of the manufacturer's specs, then she'd be forced to move it.
Right, if it didn't meet the manufacturer specs, it would be required to be moved.
Very good. But I mean, that part isn't in front of us. The city will look and make sure if they need a variance for that, they would figure that out. We're only giving her potentially a variance for the 8.6.
Yeah, my only comment was I didn't see on the plans where that was.
Yeah, because it isn't in front of us. I think just the neighbor was suggesting he'd prefer she move it based on the new requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Was that a question or was that the start of a motion?
I will make a motion to approve 236 Pleasant, case 2601. I believe the appellant is trying to continue the existing home's distance and not make the existing non-conforming any worse, and is actually coming in further to accommodate the, looks like a jog in the line between the property and the house. So with that, I think there is a reasonable reason to allow that to continue down the same line as the current existing structure. I don't think that would result in any necessary hardship, as the neighbors have already attested, or also that the appellant is not going to be able to continue the structure and follow the exact same lines as the existing structure. I don't think this is contrary to the spirit or purpose of the zoning ordinance, in that we're trying to maintain and update the structures in compliance with what we have and not make the non-conforming situation any worse than it is. And I don't think this will result in any injustice, as it'll be improving the property and the neighborhood around it. So for that, I wish to make a motion to approve.
We may have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Was it tied to the plans?
And tied, want to tie it to the plans as presented?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, and tied to the plans. Thank you.
A second, also tied to the plans. I'd just like to mention that probably reconsidering the position of that generator would be a good idea in terms of the new construction going on. So I just wanted to add that recommendation onto our approval, but I would move to second and approve the motion.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, can we please call the roll for Appeal 2601 to approve?
Carl Kona,
Yes.
John Miller,
Yes.
Eric Morgenroth,
Yes.
Jason Canvaser,
Yes.
Kevin Hart,
Yes.
Richard Lilly.
Yep. Yes.
Congratulations. Yep. Our third case this evening is case 2603 for 952 Brookwood. Looks like Andrew's up
Yep.
again.
Andrew Erickson here to present appeal number 2603. The owner of the property known as 952 Brookwood requests the following variance to construct a covered patio on the rear of the house. Chapter 126, Article 4, Section 4.74C of the zoning ordinance requires that a minimum distance between principal residential buildings on adjacent lots to be 14 feet or 25% of the lot width, whichever is larger. The required is 39.37 feet. The proposed is 27.4 feet, therefore a variance of 11.97 feet is requested on the east side. The applicant is seeking a variance to construct a pergola to an existing patio. The existing non-conforming home was built in 1950. The variance was granted in 2005. The minutes are attached.
So the home is already existing non-conforming. It's not the 27 feet, but it's, I guess it is 27.
I think 22.2.
Were you seeing that dimension? Oh, okay, 22.2. And then the existing patio is just uncovered, so they're adding the pergola over it.
They're adding correct.
And really, if you look at that dotted line that those two arrows meet, that's the maximum width that pergola could be without a variance.
The dotted line.
Yeah, the dotted
Yeah,
line that's at
the
an angle.
39.37.
Right, very good. Questions for the city? Seeing none? Who's speaking on behalf of this appeal? Hi, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Taylor Calero, 2943 Sleeth Road, Commerce Township. I'm the builder with Skyview Detroit, here on behalf of Leanne Bishop, the homeowner. Just a few highlights I want to point out with this. As it's been mentioned, the home is existing, non-conforming. If we look at the top right circled blue number that we were mentioning, so the current home is 22.2 feet from the neighbor's home. The proposed pergola is 27.4, so we are going to be farther away than the existing non-conforming already is. This is an open-air pergola, so it's not an addition. There's no walls. It's not going to be enclosed, so it is an open-air system. The reason we want it where it's located, there's an existing outdoor kitchen on this patio. It comes all the way, there's an outdoor kitchen, a grill, and a countertop that comes all the way to where our right edge of the pergola is. So it's not reasonable to move that at all. The purpose would be to cover that existing outdoor kitchen that's there now. The east neighbor is in complete agreement. They're on vacation right now. We couldn't obtain a letter, but they have no objection to this variance request.
So when you state that the reason for going all the way to that 27 feet is because there is an outdoor kitchen and the goal is to keep that covered, is there any code about having heating elements and cooking under a roof in terms of the number of BTUs and all that stuff?
It would depend on the manufacturer's specs of the unit itself. If it's a pergola and it's open, there's probably a clearance to combustibles they'd have to comply with on the actual appliance itself.
Right. So is that something that's been explored before this variance? Do we know?
I would say no, we probably haven't been provided with that, but like on an inspection, if it appeared to be a conflict, I would question.
If we make a motion and we approve it, we could say contingent on confirming that the specs for the heating element meets code based on distance to combustible or something.
Basically, yeah, any variance approval would be subject to any of the building code being approved.
Right. And so shifting this whole covered space where you wouldn't need a variance and then moving a gas line and moving, I haven't seen the structure if it's brick
Yeah,
and
if you
stone.
scroll down, there's a rendering. The homeowners have built a space where the covering is at now, and that's all essentially permanent. So there would be no use to move the pergola over. It wouldn't cover a space they're hanging out in.
Very good. Any questions for?
And can I just one more comment?
Please.
The pergola is all extruded aluminum. I know there's a concern about the gas grill. It's non-combustible, and then we would obviously work with the building department to make sure there's no issue with that.
Is there fabric that spans any of that? No. Very good. Questions for the appellant? Please, Mr. Hart.
What is the finished height of the louvers to the patio surface? What's the dimension from the finish to the bottom of the louver?
So the underside is roughly 10 feet from the patio.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything about the particular lot or the conditions on the property that would justify, having this variance? In other words, why can't you build a covered structure or not have a covered structure based on what the lot allows for? Is there something unique about the property itself as opposed to anybody else in the city that would like to build a pergola or some kind of covered structure where they have to abide by the ordinance?
So our view would be that the home's already non-conforming, and we're not making that conforming any worse than it already is. And so the idea is that the homeowners would like to be able to use the space back there. It's a very wide home on a very large lot. And I don't know if the neighboring home, what their,
It's a 100-foot lot next door.
so their distance requirement, is it much less than?
It's less.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that adjacent home is at an angle, so it's giving you much more width than you have at the front of the house. Any other questions for the appellant? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
In the audience or online, anyone not specifically affiliated with this appeal that would like to comment on this appeal? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Board members. Mr. Miller, thank you, sir.
Move to approve 952 Brookwood. I believe that the original position of the house built in the 50s, it's what's really requiring the need for this variance. It seems to be a pretty reasonable proposition here to locate the structure in that position. And I also note that the adjacent homes to this one all have their outdoor areas on the east side. So the location of this patio is in conjunction with the other homes, adjacent homes on the block, and I don't believe would cause any undue harm or concern by either of the neighbors. So for those reasons, I believe that because of the special conditions of this property, again, given that the home was built in the 50s on this lot, that the zoning ordinance, if strictly applied, would unreasonably prevent the property owner from using this property in a reasonable fashion. It would create an unnecessary hardship. I don't see anything contrary to the spirit or purpose of the ordinance, and I believe it would do substantial justice to this house and to the adjacent neighborhood. So for those reasons, I would move to approve and tie it to the plans as submitted.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we have a motion to approve 2603 for Brookwood. Can we please call the roll?
John Miller,
Yes.
Jason Canvaser,
Yes.
Kevin Hart,
Yes.
Richard Lilly,
Yes.
Carl Connor,
Yes.
Eric Morgan.
Yes. Congratulations, you have your variance. Our next case is 2604 for 350 Shirley, and Mike is presenting.
And Mike Morad, Assistant Building Official again, to present Appeal 26-04. The owner of the property known as 350 Shirley requests the following variance to construct an addition to the second story of an existing home. Chapter 126, Article 4, Section 4.74C of the zoning ordinance requires that a minimum distance between principal residential buildings on adjacent lots to be 14.00 feet or 25% of the lot, whichever is larger. The required is 34.87 feet. The proposed is 26.38 feet. Therefore, a variance of 8.49 feet is requested on the north side. The applicant is seeking a variance to add a front-to-back gable design roof. The existing non-conforming home was constructed in 1971. So here's the home sitting on the lot here. They are doing some other work on the property, addition of a garage and the back here, but neither of these are impacted. They are in compliance with the ordinance. What they're doing is, on this side of the home, they want to change the roof design on the second story, and this portion of in the arc here is in non-compliance due to the distance between the structures. So the area here, where you see this arc, everything in that shaded area is non-compliance. So they want to reconstruct the roof there. They're not changing the outside walls of the house or making the home any bigger in that location, but they are making the roof structure larger. So if you look at some of the, the
Mike, what
picture
page
here,
was that?
right here, if you look at the front elevation, there's, presently there's a hip roof on the house, and they're making a gable on the side. So this portion here, and if you look at the side, that's what it's going to look like on the side, and that's the other view from the rear of what you'll see.
So basically, the current distance is equal to the proposed distance. The only difference is they're rebuilding it, so they need a variance to keep what they already have.
That's correct.
Any questions for Mike? Seeing none? Please, come on up.
Good evening. Paul Sammartino, Martini Sammartino Design Group, 920 East Long Lake Road in Troy. Yeah, so we're designing the house for the Shanes, and this portion of the home, as was kind of laid out, we're not changing anything on the footprint, the first floor, the second floor in that area. We are going from a low-pitched hip roof that was done in the 70s, and we're going to the front-to-back gable, just kind of tying in with the new type of aesthetic we're trying to achieve with the house. So, so really, it's just the roof portion in that area that we're trying to edit to try to just keep it conforming with what this current style wants to look like.
So all the overhangs and everything won't be at a greater
No, they're going to be
width
less,
and-
actually.
They're gonna be less?
Because the overhang is quite large. We're removing the whole hip roof. It's got like a 30-inch overhang. We're going to be bringing it in less, so.
So technically, you're going to be lesser nonconformity with your version.
Correct. It's just the fact that the house is there, I can't, and we're purposefully not changing that part of the house for this reason.
The plans reflect that it's lesser?
That's correct.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Martino? Seeing none. Thanks for the quick testimony.
Yeah, you got it.
In the audience or online, anybody who has any comment that isn't affiliated with this appeal that would like to comment on this appeal? I assume you're with that group as part of it? Yeah, you can't comment if you're part of the group. It isn't necessary, hopefully. Anybody in the audience that isn't affiliated with the appeal that would like to comment on this appeal? See anybody on Zoom? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Board members, any? Mr. Canvaser, sir.
In regard to Appeal 2604 for the property at 350 Shirley, I would move to approve the requested variance. This seems pretty straightforward. We have a pre-existing non-conforming use that is actually being lessened by this variance. As we heard from the city and the applicant, they are redesigning the roof, changing the configuration. They are not changing the dimensions, so I do believe there are special conditions applicable to the property in question, and the provision of the zoning ordinance, if strictly applied, would unreasonably prevent the property owner from using the property for a permitted purpose. That literal enforcement would result in unnecessary hardship, and therefore the granting of variance will not be contrary to the spirit and purpose of the zoning ordinance, nor contrary to the public health, safety, and welfare, and that the granting of the variance will result in substantial justice to the property owners, the owners of the property in the area, and the general public. So I will tie it to the plans and request and move to approve.
Very good. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Seeing one from Mr. Kona. Any comments about this motion? Seeing none, can we please call the roll to approve?
Jason Cavazur,
Yes.
Carl Connor,
Yes.
John Miller,
Yes.
Aaron Borgernoff,
Yes.
Kevin Hart,
Yes.
Richard Lilly.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep. Our last and final appeal is 2605 for 550 South Glenhurst. Who's up?
Andrew Erickson, here to present appeal number 26-05. The owner of the property known as 550 South Glenhurst requests the following variance to construct an addition to the right side of the existing home. Chapter 126, Article 2, Section 2.06.2 of the zoning ordinance requires that a minimum total combined side yard setback be 14 feet or 25% of the lot width, whichever is larger. The required is 17.89 feet. The proposed is 14.51 feet. Therefore, a variance of 3.38 feet is being requested. The applicant is seeking a variance to construct an addition to the right side of the existing non-conforming home that was constructed in 1948. So basically, this whole, the gray area here, it's going to be in a garage, an addition on the side of the house. The area in yellow is showing the non-conforming portion.
So this entire yellow area is adding additional nonconformity to the existing nonconformity, or is this like second?
Well,
Go ahead.
the existing is non-conforming. They're tearing it down and they're actually lessening it. They're bringing it in to get the 5-yard, the side yard setback to.
So it's not that they're adding this yellow to the side of the home?
No.
They're removing and then adding back on, and the final product is less of a nonconformity than its current position?
Correct.
Very good. That includes the foundation and everything? All right, questions for the city? Mr. Hart?
Yes, Mr. Gibson, thank you. The property to the north, address is 540. Mr. Erickson, it's a trapezoidal shape. The frontage on Glenhurst is wider than the backyard frontage. If the property, and it is conforming, the property is parallel to the north property line. If that property were squared up, the house would likely be squared up along with that setback. I think it's at 5 feet to the north side. So this property by itself has its own constrictions, but the constricting geometry of the property to the north has an effect on this property.
Well, it's just it's the total setbacks that we're worried about. We're not worried about the distance in between. That complies.
Okay. So would it, but that again, if that house were tipped to go parallel with the street instead of being on this angle, it would likely be 3 or 4 feet farther away from
Correct.
this property.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for the city? Mr. Conlon?
The new garage is going to be closer to the front of the house than the existing garage is. I couldn't find the code for the setback from the front of the building. Is that 5 or 10 feet?
5 feet.
5 feet, okay, so they meet that. Yeah, 5 feet, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Michael.
Oh, please.
So they're tearing down a garage, they're building a new garage, they're bringing it in. What is the dimensions of the current proposed, or the new proposed garage? I thought I saw it somewhere, but,
Like 10 feet wide?
is it just a single-car garage?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, okay. So they're not even proposing a two-car garage here?
No.
So if we don't grant them variances, that they wouldn't have a garage, is that long and short of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just a comment, the single-car garage, if I could, Mr. Chairman, single-car garage on this dimension is pretty austere. It's at 10 feet inside to inside by 22 feet long. So on any dimension for a typical garage would be 24 feet inside would be standard two-car, or no, one car would have it. So it's a very austere one cars. I'm thinking how I see it. It would, unless there's some I'm missing.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, who's speaking on behalf of this appeal?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Wyatt Gilbert, and I'm here on behalf of both Krieger-Klett Architects in Royal Oak and also Laura and Mark over there. So we're seeking just one variance for the total of the side yard setbacks.
Say the address. I don't know
Oh,
if they-
sorry, 550 South Glenhurst.
Yeah.
Is
No,
it
I don't mean of the property of your business.
400 East Lincoln Road.
Okay, maybe you didn't say it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
And so we're just requesting one variance for the total side yard setback, which is under an existing non-conforming condition, and you'll find that we're actually making it better. So on this first slide, this is kind of just a quick high-level overview of the zoning analysis. We're good on lot coverage and open space. The setbacks, the front yard setback, we're under on the south side yard setback. We're not doing any scope of work there, and so that one's staying at 9 feet. The rear yard, we are lessening a bit, but we're still well within compliance on that side. And the main area of focus is going to be on that north side yard setback. And while we got the survey back from this one, we actually came to understand that there was 3 existing non-conforming conditions as a part of this property. All of these are underlined under the setbacks, so this would be the 3 conditions are, number 1, the minimum side yard setback of 5 feet. The existing survey showed that it was 4.92 feet encroaching, so that was number 1. Number 2 was the minimum building separation between, which has to be 25% of the lot width, as previously stated, that's 17.89. And we're proposing to come under both of those by pulling the existing structure back so that we comply with both of those. The one that we weren't able to work around was what we're requesting tonight, which is the total of this 2 side yards. It's required to also be 25% of the existing lot width, which would be 17.89. We're proposing 14.51, so a 3.38 variance would be required. And just to note that the 14.51 is pulling it further back, so we are getting closer to compliant, and we're leaving everything more compliant than when we found it, essentially. If you want to go on to the next slide. Just to quickly run through some of the practical difficulties that we encountered for this one. Like I said previously, we had the 3 existing non-conforming conditions, but in addition to those, this is actually built askew on the lot line. So it's pretty minimal and wouldn't really show up in a site plan like this, but essentially, if we were to follow the existing line and climb closer towards the front yard setback, we'd be getting further away from the side yard. And if we were to follow the existing line and go towards the rear yard, we would be encroaching further. So that's why, as you'll see on the zoomed-in site plan, when we extended the existing footprint towards the front yard, we met that line, but once we extended it towards the rear yard in order to be in compliance with the side yard setback, we did step it back so that the entirety of the of the structure, and also that small appendage is a chimney. Both of those would be in compliance with all of the setbacks in the existing conditions. We can go on to the next one. This is just also a few more practical difficulties that the family is currently facing. So right now, the effective mudroom for the house is a stair landing in between the driveway and the kitchen. So you'll see on our proposed plans that we're proposing a mudroom in order to keep up with more modern standards and also to help this unsafe and hazardous situation going on at the top of their stairs. Also on the first floor is pretty limited closet space. So a large driving factor in this was to get more closet space onto the first floor in order to keep up with modern amenities and modern houses. And then finally, they found that they were outgrowing a lot of their common spaces. So part of it, you'll see that in addition to the one-car garage that we're proposing and the adjacent mudroom, we're also proposing to go out towards the backyard and include a living room. This would be larger than their current one and meet their current needs. And then they would be able to use their existing living room as a much larger dining room and in order to meet the needs of their growing family.
Very good. Any questions for the appellant? Seeing none, I think you said everything you needed. You're good.
Cool.
Thanks. In the audience or online, anybody that has comments about this appeal that is not affiliated with this appeal? All right, we'll close public comment. Board members. Please, Mr. Hart.
Mr. Chairman, yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve case number 26-05, 550 South Glenhurst. I think the appellant has done a very good job of describing the challenges of the house. I think that the plan that is presented this evening is very carefully done it's very carefully done in trying to remediate some of the encroachments that are existing on the existing non-conforming house. I think that these demonstrated that the practical difficulties of the house and the austere nature of the solution also includes a one-car garage, which I haven't seen for quite a while. I think the impact on the on the neighboring properties is minimal, and the one-car garage configuration is also a very appealing and very well presented, I think. Special conditions have also been outlined by the appellant, and again, there's no adverse effect on neighboring properties. So I think we are resulting in substantial justice for both the neighboring properties and for the homeowner. And I would tie the motion to the drawings and information presented.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Seeing a second from Mr. Kona. Any discussion about this motion?
I just had a comment that I believe that this is a really significant mitigation of the existing nonconformity. For that reason and others, I would support this motion.
Very good. We have a motion to approve. Can we please call the roll?
Kevin Hart,
Yes.
Carl Kona,
Yes.
John Miller,
Yes.
Eric Mormont,
Yes.
Jason Canvaser,
Yes.
Richard Lilly.
Yes.
Congratulations. You have your variance. Thank you. Mr. Zuki, do we have any other things for the board?
We do not.
And out in the audience, I see a single person who joined us. Do you have anything you'd like to discuss with our board that doesn't cover what we talked about today?
I was going to weigh in on 590 Shirley, but I didn't understand the situation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I was fine with the building a roof on top of an existing thing. I have a question about
don't you come up to the microphone so that.
Do you want to come up to the microphone and then we can hear you on the record and,
Sure, I've been sick.
oh, it's all right. We can breathe on Mr. Kona.
It's good that I'm the last speaker. I really didn't intend to do this, but I have a question about as-built, because I have a,
Can you please say your name for the record?
I'm sorry, Sybil Kickham, 312 Linden Road, Birmingham.
Thank you.
I have a survey that was done. I guess it's called a site plan and drainage plan, but then it becomes an as-built. And I really don't understand, but I have tried to communicate with the city for 2 years, even while this was under construction, believing that it encroached on the side setback. It is an accessory building in the back of the property.
This has nothing to do with Shirley, right? This is,
It has nothing to do with.
you're just saying in
Shirley, but
general you have a
just-
question.
I
yeah.
have a question about as-built, because.
So,
Well, I bet these gentlemen could help you
let me
out.
just interrupt, yeah, so we're a board of zoning and zoning appeals. So,
You deal with this?
well, I mean, I know what an as-built is, but it is in our position to talk about it. And if you have questions about drainage or what an as-built is, which is really just how was it built? As-built shows the final product.
It's approved as-built. It's got a date on it.
Yeah, but it's something you would talk to the city about, and if you haven't been getting any clarity through an email,
I haven't been getting clarity about this at all.
well, this is the head of the building official for.
And he's one of my
Birmingham.
favorite people. I really like Jeff. But we wanted to go first to unconforming use. Is that what it was?
Non-conforming. It's a new
Non-conforming.
garage.
And
There's a discrepancy from an existing survey on Sybil's property and
The new survey?
new build, as-built, which she has.
And it's not a new survey. It's not a survey done subsequent to the construction.
An as-built
Just-
typically is done subsequent to the
Well,
construction.
it's titled even, they didn't even change the title of it. It says site plan and drainage plan.
Right, but you understand
But
that
then it has the signatures on it of.
you're just you're in front of the wrong board. It isn't.
Am I,
any-
what board do I go to?
You wouldn't, because it's not a board issue. You're complaining about maybe proximity or something that's built next to you, and you think that there's misinformation, and you either go to the city first, or if you have a complaint with your neighbor about something positioned, you have to reach out to an attorney, have a survey done, and then compare it.
It's a civil matter, and I see how carefully you review everything, and I was very impressed. But I just wonder how these other things happen and go unnoticed by this board.
Well, the only thing that comes in front of us is when there is an ordinance or a rule in the city on how something should be done, and someone believes that they should be able to do something else because of a specific factor of their property, they can come in and request a variance, permission to build it differently. That has nothing to do with your as-built, the drainage, or your neighbor's
And
property.
there they don't ask for permission and get a constructive as-built variance.
I mean, there are times where someone comes in front of us because the property was built, it's discovered after it was built that it needs a variance because it was positioned incorrectly, and then they can come in front of us and say, we'd like a variance for what we built, and then the answer can be, we give it to you, or we don't, and you have to tear it down. But that has nothing to do with what you're asking me now.
And that becomes a civil matter for me to initiate.
No, if the city determines something was built incorrectly and requires a variance because it's not built within the ordinance, they would force that person to come in for a
We'll talk
variance.
about this later, but it just troubles me because we relied for my survey on the 2 pins that they set in both corners. The only deviation in that line that would allow them to be 3 feet from the property line as required is in the first 20 feet of the garage.
I hear what you're
And so
saying,
it's just where the garage is, where there's a discrepancy.
right?
Even though we relied on the irons that they had set. And I just don't understand when I talked about this while the garage was being built, that I thought it was being built crooked.
I mean, I hear you're talking to us and you're on the record, but you really should be talking to the city because it's nothing we can
I will talk
address.
to the city.
Good luck.
And I promised myself I wouldn't talk to the city anymore.
Listen, if you're right, you need clarity. If you're not right, they need to help you understand it so that you can feel comfortable that what was done was proper. I hear
Thank you so much for that. And
Absolutely.
it was very interesting watching this, it was. And I was glad I noticed that 350 surely didn't need any help from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
for spending the time with us.
Bye. Bye, Jeff.
Seeing nobody else in the audience, we will have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.